Hi, Julie.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I am well, thank you. You're backlit.
Yeah, I know.
Look like witness protection.
That better?
Better. Not, yeah. There you
Am
go.
I in? Is Frank Cardilli in?
Oh,
I
yeah.
see Cheryl Cardilli with a big S.
Well, Cheryl, could you see me?
I don't see you. I see a big
Uh-oh.
S.
Well, I guess S is me.
Okay.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Frank. How are you?
Okay. Let's see how I can get myself on there then. Big S. Okay.
Do you have a little audio thing? I
I-
mean,
the
not
au-
audio.
The host asks you to start your video. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
There you are.
You can see me?
Yeah.
Okay, but I can't see you. Let's see.
You go to,
Can you see me now?
yeah, we can see you.
And
You're
now I
wearing
can
a
see you.
lovely red collared shirt.
And I can see you. So this is a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Hi, Sheila.
Hello there.
Sheila, Dan, David, hello.
Hi.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Really, how are
Frank.
you? Hey,
Very
Frank, how you
well.
doing?
Okay, sir.
Tony, who else is on the committee besides the 5 people that I see?
We have Joe Moshe is appointed, and then there's one open seat that the Concom has the ability to appoint.
Okay.
So we have a quorum. So I think we can officially open the meeting.
All right.
That's 7:02. Are you taking notes, Julie? You're the best.
There's my pencil.
You're the best. Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Tony. I'm the town administrator. I'm a member of this is a meeting of the Town Owned Land Study Committee at 7 o'clock on June 28th. This is the first meeting of the Town Owned Land Study Committee in probably 3 or so years. We have some new members on the committee. And we have 2 new town-owned land authorized for sale, approved by town meeting that will come before us. And
Bring an ask whale shark to take him anywhere, to land, the ocean depths, or a jaunt around the world.
And so I'd like to welcome, the new members that are here are David and Dan Taylor. Welcome to the committee. Thank you guys for volunteering your time and being part of the committee. Joe Moshe, I don't see here. And then like Julie had mentioned earlier, we have one other open seat. So this committee was formed many years ago when a piece of property was being offered up for sale by town meeting. And the committee was created as part of that process. It was actually very specific. The committee originally was created specifically for that particular parcel of land that was going to be put up for sale. But the language in that meeting actually said, and for this committee to advise on future sale of town-owned land. So that's how the committee was selected, or created, I should say. And there's the town administrator. It's a 7-member committee. I actually have the language here in front of me that I can share. Share my screen. Okay, I'll zoom in a little bit. So Article 27, and I don't even have the year that this was, what town meeting this was. I don't have it with me here, but Article 27 was to sell a piece of property at 2 Wendell Road to James Connolly. And this is the motion that was voted. Upon motion duly seconded, it was a majority vote in favor to form a committee to study the request of James Connolly to purchase town-owned land on Wendell Road Extension. Such committee to establish policies and procedures for handling said request and for handling future requests for the purchase of town-owned property. Said committee to report a special or annual town meeting no later than 2003 annual town meeting. So this must have been 2002. Said committee shall be known as the Town and Land Study Committee and shall consist of 7 members, including the town administrator, 1 additional citizen appointed by the town administrator, 1 citizen appointed by the Board of Selectmen, who may but need not be a member of the Board of Selectmen, 1 citizen appointed by the Planning Board, again, by the Concom, by Open Space Management Committee, and Board of Assessors. And that is basically the only language that kind of provides us our jurisdiction and our mission. So simply put, our committee establishes policies and procedures for handling a request for purchase of town-owned property. So Sheila has a lot of additional background that she can probably share. And Julie, you've been on the committee for a while too. But next I'll bring up the guidelines. Sheila, how's that for an explanation, a brief overview?
So the guidelines were established. It took several meetings of that first committee that was put together. And then the guidelines were produced. And we used it for the last town-owned land study for the purchase of Bayview Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we haven't met since. And
Right.
that was 3 or 4 years ago.
So as I mentioned, there's 2 town-owned land parcels that are going to be in front of us to review. And we're going to follow the Town and Land Study Committee's guidelines to answer those questions. And then we'll be providing the answers and a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. Ultimately, the Board of Selectmen are the only committee of authority to sell town-owned property. So town meeting authorizes the selectmen to do so, and then the selectmen have the authority to actually act on that authorization. And then Chapter 30B, there are some Chapter 30B requirements as well that come after that. So in the first one, as you can see, Frank Cadilli's on the phone with us here. The first one that we're going to take up is the 6 Antigua Way article. I can read that as well. And then, you know, after we get through this, this will be a nice, I guess, a little bit easier than the other one that we have that is going to come before us, which is the Coast Guard housing property. So this will be a good opportunity for us to kind of get familiar with the guidelines, with the process, and prepare us for a much larger, longer process, I'm assuming, with the more complicated parcel of the Coast Guard housing. So Article 33 from the 2021 annual town meeting was to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to convey, transfer, or sell pursuant to MGL Chapter 30B, a portion of town-owned land located on the northwestern portion of Antigua Way and identified on the attached certified plan prepared by Ralph Reed and dated July 16, 2020, and measuring 192 square feet, or take any other action relative thereto. The motion, actually read by Julie Tarmy as a member of the Finance Committee, and passed at that meeting, was I move that the town vote to transfer the care, custody, and control of the northwestern portion of Antigua Way as identified on the attached certified plan prepared by Ralph Reed and dated July 16, 2020, and measuring 192 square feet from the Board of Selectmen for public way or other purposes to the Board of Selectmen for that purpose, and the additional purpose of conveyance, and further to authorize the Board of Selectmen to convey all or a portion of said property as printed in the warrant on such terms and conditions as the board deems appropriate. Now, all that language, especially Julie, for you who's taking notes, is in the email I sent out on June 14th. So Julie, that could just be copied and pasted. So I want to bring up the town on land study guidelines next and kind of go over this. Sheila, I'm going to ask that you maybe walk us through this document that I've loaded up on the screen.
Thank you. And Tony,
Yep.
this doesn't mean that these are just set absolutely in stone, because if the committee wants to vote to modify or change them, I think they have the right to do that.
I would, unless it, I think so, but unless it would go beyond what the town meeting article.
Right,
said.
but you know, these were just guidelines that were established, like, I want to say almost 20 years ago.
Oh,
know?
you're saying we don't have to go line by
Yeah,
line here on the
Right,
study
well,
guidelines.
right. I mean, yeah. And these particular guidelines was that someone approached the town who wanted to purchase some town-owned land, and the town-owned land study was committee was established so that they'd report to town meeting the following year on whether or not they should or shouldn't, and what the requirements would be for the Board of Selectmen if they chose to do it. That's how that kind of started, as opposed to what we're doing lately, meaning that town meeting's approving these sales and we're just setting the guidelines. So it's a little different. And that's what I'm saying. We may need to modify them,
Okay,
you know? So
yeah,
I don't know if anybody printed them out or not, but the first thing is what are the exact boundaries of the property? And should the town require that the proposed transee pay for a survey? I think Frank did have a survey
yep,
prepared. And so we should all probably have a copy of it. So we at least, you know, have it in our files and records and we can look at it.
mhm,
You know, what is its current use? You know, how is it being used now?
yeah,
Does
certainly
the
some of
town,
these questions
yeah,
for a 192 square foot corner of
right,
the street, you know,
Not
they're not
applicable.
gonna, yeah, right.
right. It's NA, not applicable. You know what I mean? So some of these, we did take a lot of time trying to figure out what questions and what we need to guidelines with. And we might be able to stick with them, especially for tonight, but we can answer them not applicable as we go through them. Number 3, describe the topography and surrounding area. 4, what is the history regarding the circumstance of the transfer? So, why is the approval being sought? To whom, have they been using it or not? What is the stated reason of the proposed transfer? What is the terms? What is the assessed value of the property? Well, it's not assessed per se. So either I would have to come up with an assessment of that as well. David, you're the assessor on this particular committee. You may have to come up with the assessed value, but I'll help you. Then what is the fair market value of the property? Should the town require the proposed transfer provide an appraisal? Should the town obtain its own appraisal? And I don't know if we need to kind of go through each and every question, or did you want to start to answer some of these questions?
I'm scrolling through them just so people on the
Yep.
call can kind of see the document that we will be kind of working through.
Okay.
And I think Frank will be able to help answer a lot of those questions.
I should be able to.
Exactly.
Before we start getting into
To all the
answers
details.
to those questions, does anybody on the committee have any questions or comments before I ask Frank to kind of give us a general overview?
Oh, gosh. I'm having technical difficulties right at the moment.
All right. Well, then if no one else on the committee has any questions or comments, Frank, I have a copy of the survey.
Right?
If I can rotate it on my screen here. And, maybe you could kind of explain to the committee what it is that you are hoping to accomplish.
Okay, this particular piece of property has been in our family since 1946. My wife and I purchased the property in 1980 from the family estate. The house itself in the paved street, Antigua Way, has not moved since 1940. The corner of that house, basically the street itself, as far as the actual layout versus the pavement, are two different locations. We weren't aware of that. So we applied for a permit for a variance to put an addition on the house. It was approved by the town in the early 1980s. We did the work. It was completed, and the building inspector came down and signed off on it, that it was done correctly, all said and done. So recently, my wife and I, getting a little older, we wanted to put the house in the trust of the children, and we got a survey done, and we find out that through Ralph Reed, the road is actually 5 feet or so to the left, which kind of chops off the corner of our house, which was unbeknownst to anybody. And he basically referred to, back in the day, a lot of the zoning in Nahant was kind of helter-skelter, if you will. So we're just trying to firm this up so that the transfer to our children can be a clear title. So we're asking the town to sell this corner of the lot to us in order to clear up that matter. And the biggest point is, it does not have any impact on any of the neighbors or any fire equipment going down the street. The plot plan is actually deceiving because it's showing that part of our house is right in the middle of the street, whereas in reality, it is not. It abuts the paved street itself. So that's what we're asking the town for. We're asking the town to purchase a piece of land, which what we thought we kind of already owned.
Right. I'm trying to see if I can.
So it sounds like what we see as Antigua Way is a road that was laid out on paper, but in
Correct.
actuality, the pavement is some other
Correct.
dimension, right?
Correct. The
So you
pavement,
I
can-
have
so
to-
they have to abandon a portion of the Antigua Way, and we can probably, we should go ahead and transfer, that 192 square feet. You're on a dead end, so to speak. The road is not fully constructed.
right, and the pavement, as you see, stops by the
Right.
photograph that you're showing,
Yep.
and it turns into just dirt or grass.
Right.
And if you can, are you guys seeing the bird's eye view from Google Maps?
Yep.
Yeah,
So you can see Greystone Road, comes at this, at,
That's what it's
You know, keep-
paved as.
yeah,
But that's
keep-
really
keep
not
in
the
mind-
layout.
right. And then if I switch back to, what's on paper, Greystone Road, comes
Right.
way more sharp into Antigua Way. So
Correct.
what's on record on paper does not accurately match. It doesn't match with what's happening, out there on the ground.
so,
Right.
and Antigua, to your point, Greystone and Antigua are in the same situation, whereas the actual layout, the pavement versus
Yeah.
the actual reality of where they are two different situations.
Right.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
So again, what we're asking the town for is basically just to help us clear up the lot situation.
Mhm.
That is
So
the
Frank, may I ask a question? Have you had an appraisal done yet?
No, but they'd be more than happy to do that for you if that's what you would like. Yep.
Well, that is one of the requirements in this document. And have you gotten a copy of this, the guidelines kind of?
I don't, but I'd be more than happy, as to say, if it's a matter of getting
Yeah.
the appraisal done, I can call an appraiser and get that done as soon as possible.
Do you know appraisers?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you said, the plot was done by Ralph Reed, so that should be fine.
And Ralph is retired, so he's sold all his records to, I guess, various different people.
Well, that's why I've got a lot of copies of it for that reason. So my next step is after if you folks come to agreement, is to get an appraiser and then forward it to you folks immediately.
Well, that is one of our questions,
Yep, no
I
problem.
think, Sheila, I think
but
Dan's not on the call, but I
yeah,
wanna
right.
say it's a requirement of the 30B process. So
Okay,
whether we get it now or get it later,
later, he should do it now.
I think we have to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Well,
Well,
that's
either way,
why I
I have to
kinda
get,
brought it up.
correct. Either way, I have to get it, so we'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, is if I get you a copy of these guidelines, at least you know what you would be probably asked,
Okay,
Four.
fair enough.
Yeah. And maybe you can't supply some things, and so there we go.
Yeah.
We have an,
So Frank, can I ask a question?
Please.
So you said that it doesn't affect like fire lanes or traffic lanes. Is the effect of what you're saying that actually Antigua Way goes more to the right than is shown on this diagram?
Absolutely. That diagram, that if you will, that strip of land that I'm acquiring, that I'm trying to acquire, Antigua Way actually abuts the front of that.
All right.
Tony,
So,
I have a picture if you want me to pull it up on my screen.
And I was going to ask you, that's what you're indicating with the arrow is the.
Right. In other words, if you look at the plot plan that I submitted, it looks like this hunk of houses in the middle of the street. And,
Right.
and in reality, it's not.
Right. Okay,
Matter of fact, none of it is. It comes right up to the pavement.
your property is the white roofed property right there in the middle?
No, that my property is the
Oh,
brown,
the end.
the
Oh,
brown
okay.
roof.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
It's basically this piece right
Nothing
here.
behind it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
Tony, do you mind if I share it? Because I have it right on my computer now, like the actual view, like right in front of it. Might make it
Yeah,
easier.
Hold on. Yep, hold on a second here.
No problem.
All right, go ahead.
Let's see if I can. Share screen. Can you see it okay now?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so it's right, it's this
Right.
part right here, Frank, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that, as I say, in the original house that we bought, that flower box was made out of cement. And I changed the flower box from cement to stone. Again, nothing has changed. When we pull the permit, the physical blueprint of this part of the house is identical to what it was back in the 1940s, including the flower box. And as you see, that pavement has not changed. What you see in front has not changed since 1940.
Is that Scarecrow from 1940?
Nah, probably not. Probably not. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think, the committee has a pretty good understanding of, unless any members of the committee have any other questions? All right, Dan, so do you want to
I
pick
just-
stop share?
I have just a quick question. Frank,
Yep.
did the size of your lot change?
No, it's 3712 is what we bought.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
So I mean,
it's-
that hasn't changed. Go ahead.
In the 1946 plan, it says 4,000 square feet.
Oh, well, okay. I think what happened was when the Seraphises built the house next door, our land went further, and we had to sell them off. My grandfather owned the house at that time, and he sold a piece of that property off in order for them to be able to build their house. So
Okay.
we went from 4,000 to 3712. It's a good memory. That was before I was born, but yeah.
You do have a good memory, Frank.
Yeah, that's how that happened. So the lot actually went down in size, but it's 30, according to the town records, it's 3712, and it was 4,000.
Thank you.
All right, so do you want to, since we're on here, you want to try to get through, at least like a page or so or two of these questions, see what we
Yes.
can get through?
Please do.
Julie, do you have it printed out?
I do.
Do you want to take notes right on your printed out version, and then,
Your thing.
I can help type them up?
Yep.
So, I'm going to share my screen again and share the questionnaire.
How did you know I would have them printed out, Tony?
I had a sneaking suspicion.
I'm a pencil and paper kind of girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, property location, 6 Antigua Way.
Yep.
What are the exact boundaries of the property? Should the town require that the proposed transferee pay for a survey? I think we could just write survey attached.
Do we
What-
want to, it's not recorded, is it? with the registry of deeds.
No, it hasn't as yet until we get it approved.
Well, I don't think you can. That would have to be done something with the planning board if you were to have a site plan approved.
Okay.
So I don't know, were you planning to have the site plan approved?
Well,
That might not be a bad idea.
I don't know if he
Uh,
knows what you're talking about. I think he
Yeah,
was,
I know.
I think he thought you were talking about, the future property that's gonna be purchased, but what Sheila was saying is your survey that was completed by Ralph Reed has not been registered.
correct.
Right.
With, that has not been registered with the Board of,
Registry of
Registry of Deeds. I can
Right.
get it filed. But it
Well-
won't be up to date because that portion, that easement hasn't been approved yet.
Right, that's why I was thinking you might want to go bring it to the planning board for approval. But now, unfortunately, the sticky part is Ralph Reed's not available, so now you have to deal with a different surveyor and hope they, I don't know if you can
Oh,
track
no.
it.
No, that's crazy.
Well,
Uh,
I know. Well, the problem is you have to meet the requirements of the registry of deeds. And
Right.
that is a particular size, Mylar, stamps or whatever. Maybe you should call the registry of deeds and ask how you would file a plot plan.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Maybe that would be the easiest.
That-
I think
That would be the easiest thing to get started. Yeah.
yeah, because
Are you-
Ralph does, the plot plan that I have does have his stamp on it.
Yep. That's not the only requirement.
Okay.
Sheila,
Okay.
are you referring to the future plot plan or current?
Ye- The future. What he's
So-
presenting is that would be something that he should probably. And that's something that the planning board doesn't need to hold a public hearing for. They would just come in and he would present it and the planning board should just go ahead and approve it.
Would he need to do that before he actually purchases the property though?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Dan Script, I think, town council on that. You know-
Certainly he's gotta do it after.
Absolutely.
After the purchase of the property, but. to
That's
get
what
to
I would think
Yeah.
in progression.
Right.
Right.
I would think, the survey and the
Right.
appraisal gets him in a position to purchase the property. And then
Right.
if he does purchase it, then he's got to get a plot plan and, register with the, hey,
Right.
Dan, if you say Dan Script's name more than once during a meeting, he shows up.
Okay.
And he's,
All right.
and he's on the call.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So
There
the
you go.
appraisal is required by our procurement statute, 30B. I don't have a second for you right at the moment, but I can get you one. And that's important because that triggers two things. One, if the appraisal is over a certain amount, which is not an issue here, it involves more procurement process. Number one. Number two, if you sell for if the town sells or disposes of the property for less than the appraised amount, then it triggers another issue in terms of explaining why you're selling the property less than its value. So that's why it's required. There's no discretion. We must determine the value of the property.
Okay.
before we dispose of it.
So
Okay.
my first move is to get an appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
That's done. I mean, well, that'll be ordered tomorrow. And I already have the plot plan, as you know. So once I have the appraisal and the plot plan, then what would be next?
Okay.
And naturally, your approval.
Well, you can answer number 2, what is the current use? You can say you're occupying it.
right?
Number
Residential, right?
well, yeah, and it's an old former flower bed or whatever. Describe the topography and surrounding, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, and surrounding area.
yep. It's basically a flower bed in front
Right.
and the
You know,
front stairs in
So
the
you
corner.
can answer those questions and you can send it to us. Yeah.
Oh, I see
What
what you're
is
saying.
regarding the circumstances of this transfer? So
Okay.
you can write that up. It says explain in detail.
Mhm.
So you'll need a copy of this. What is the stated reason for the proposed transfer? For clear title, obviously.
Right, number 5,
What
clear
are the
title.
stated terms of the proposed transfer? You might want to say not applicable. What is the assessed value of the property? And you'd have to say, you'll have to get it from the assessor. What is the fair market value of the
Sheila.
property? Yeah,
Sheila, on that one, number 7.
yeah.
Is that asking what's the assessed value of the entire property currently?
No, just the 192 square feet, but with the assessed value of that parcel B.
Okay.
That's
so
what I
you
think.
get that from.
So
from
we can
Sheila.
rewrite that question.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay,
So that one, you gotta ask Sheila to put that together for you, Frank.
yeah, right, just assessor, number 7, okay.
Number 7, yeah.
And the fair market value, we'll get that from the appraisal, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And then it's a little redundant for number 8. What is the market value of the property? And
We'll get
again,
that
it's
from the
about an
appraisal.
appraisal, but we know that it's needed, so
Okay,
that's a little bit redundant.
okay. What is the zoning?
Residential.
Right, residential R2. What is the historical use? The same. What is the natural history of the site?
That
Its
might be-
current use, okay? It hasn't changed.
So 11 would be current use,
Yeah,
Hasn't-
it hasn't
yeah.
changed.
no change.
Are there maintenance or other costs to the town property associated with the prop? So you would say, no. There
None,
wouldn't be
none.
any
12.
charges, right,
12 would be none,
right.
Yeah.
okay?
What
And third,
input has there been from abutters? So I guess we have to write to the abutters to see if there's any objection,
correct,
okay? So I can create for you, Frank, an abutters list.
okay? I'd be more than happy to go door to door, or whatever.
Okay. Well, you should probably mail it, because then
okay.
they should probably be invited to the next meeting so that they can either voice or not voice any concerns.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
should the town request input? Yeah, okay. And other town committees. So Tony, do you think anybody else needs to be involved?
No, but I think we could write down that it was approved at town meeting
Right,
2021.
right.
You know, that's the biggest form of collection of residents and, you know, their opinion.
That's number 14.
Number 13, I was saying, you know, you could write, you know, what input has there been from abutters, town committees, et cetera. You could write approved at 2021 annual town meeting.
Okay,
And then number 14, we will get you in the butters list and mail them something that says, you know, please come to the next meeting once we have a date. You know, so that it's they have the opportunity to voice their opinion.
okay,
Number 15, as the town previously adopted policies, priorities which would impact the site. And I don't think so. I would say no.
Yeah.
Or N/A.
Okay, so I should take a get a copy of this and fill out the questions and get the appropriate appraisal and the abutters list you'll be giving me.
I'm gonna forward this to you right now.
Okay, great.
Is it fs.cadilli@gmail.com?
That's fine. Oh, terrific. Yeah. And once I fill this out, I turn it into what office?
Tony,
Yeah, you can drop it off to me or Sheila, either
Okay.
one.
Okay, fair enough.
The next part of this
Recording in
packet. Oops, Sheila,
I have to, something's wrong with my iPad, so I have to shut it down.
all right,
But
I
I'm
muted
here.
the other one. I tried to mute the other one.
I got it. I did try, I did mute it, but it
Okay.
didn't, just wanted to echo. I apologize.
Okay. So the next part of this packet is really for us to fill out as the committee. Is that right, Sheila?
Probably there are, yeah. Is there any maintenance or costs to the town presently associated? And then 16, as we went through that. Yeah, importance to the town, number 1, will the transfer generate revenue for the town? So that would come from the assessors, that they would mark up a property record card with and without it to show the difference.
Mhm.
Number 2, does the site have historical value?
No,
Okay, right. Does the site have open space recreation significance?
no,
Does the site have environmental significance?
no.
NA, does the site value for public access reasons? So there, it's already been blocked since 1946, so you'd
No.
say it's been blocked. Does the property have potential costs to the towns? So, and that appears to be maintenance liability, other. And if we transfer it, then none of those would be applicable.
Correct. Because I have to maintain all of that like I have been.
Right, right. What future use could the site? I don't think anything else.
Just changing the flowers from year to year.
Yep, right, exactly. And how will the transfer impact development either on the site of the proposed transfer or in other sites?
Nothing.
Build out buildings, I don't think it's going to impact anything. You're not like you're going, it's a 10,000 square foot lot,
No, there's no way, I mean, without the variance of doing anything on this property, you can't really do anything.
Right, right. So it doesn't affect it.
No.
Right.
Could the provide access to potential transferee or to other private individuals who could use the site? So that's a no.
Right.
If the property is transferred, could future owners develop uses which could have a negative impact? I don't
No.
think so.
They
Long-
couldn't.
Development, subdivisions, no, none of that's applicable.
Right.
Would a sale of this property create an unwanted precedent, which could be used in future? Well, that could be true, but it's what it is, I think.
Mhm. Yeah.
Other potential consequences that could negatively impact the town. I don't know, that'd be something town council.
Dan?
All right, what was the
Yeah.
question? I missed that. I was in the midst of something else.
Are there other potential consequences to the sale of this property which would negatively impact the town?
Not that I
Number,
can think of. No. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
No, not that I can think of. This is such a small parcel. And this is reminiscent of our, is it Bayview?
Right.
It's the same type of thing. So there were no negative consequences there. Not anything that would even come close to this sort of
Right.
situation. So I think we're fine with that.
And I think the rest is insignificant. It's not applicable. Importance to potential transferee. Importance to the abutters. I don't think, until we hear from the abutters. Right now, we have no idea, but who knows what an abutter would say, but it might not be applicable anyway.
Right.
So I basically have covered and went through the whole.
So there you go. So Frank, if you could, maybe give us some answers on that, like we just walked through it.
Yeah,
And
what I'll do is I will
fire the
download,
appraisal.
right, I will download what you sent me. I will fill it out. I will get the appraisal and I will bring the document to Sheila. And if she has any other questions at that time, I could fill it out right there.
And your plan, and your little survey plan, your little plot plan.
Absolutely. So plot
Yeah.
plan, the appraisal, and the form being filled out.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Dan,
Okay.
before you jump off,
Yeah,
once Frank provides that to us and we have this questionnaire filled
Recommendation.
out,
yeah.
we will make a recommendation to the selectmen for, what the fair market value of the property is.
Right.
And then can you just briefly describe the process from that point forward?
Of course. So the selectmen then, after they get the recommendation from this committee, which includes the appraisal and whatnot and the reasons and everything Sheila just went through, the selectmen then determine whether this is disposable property, and I imagine they would. So they, like they did in the Bayview matter, declare it eligible for disposal. Now, because we're obligated to comply with 30B, we can't just sell it to Mr. Cardinal. We actually have to go through the process of saying, okay, well, it's up for bid essentially, but it's restricted to these particular uses. And those restrictions would only really apply to anyone in Frank's situation. It wouldn't make any sense for anyone else to buy it like we did it previously. And then it just goes out because it's likely to be under $35,000. It's a very easy process. It's a matter of time. And then we go from there. As long as we sell it for at or above the appraisal, there's not really much issue after that. So it's a pretty easy process because the property is so small and likely not very valuable. But it needs to go through 30B and go through there. But it shouldn't be an issue after we get through the committee, this committee recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay. So committee, well, Frank, why don't you let me know when you're when you speak to an appraiser and what that schedule might look like.
Yeah,
And then I'll send an email out to this committee to get another meeting scheduled. And we'll do like a week's notice, so this way you can get the abutters notified.
oh boy, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
And I'll help you with butters.
Thank you. I appreciate the assistance. But as I say, on my end, I will fill out that form and get the appraisal done as soon as possible, and then get you the plot plan, the appraisal, and the finished filled out application.
92 square feet.
Sounds good.
Right. My computer sounds like it's about to blow up.
Not allowed.
It like the fan in the laptop is making all sorts of weird noises here. I'm gonna stop share. So if we're good, anything else from the committee members?
No, I think you're very well prepared, Frank. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your
having
time.
done already.
I appreciate your patience. Thank you for helping out. As I say, I'll do my due diligence on my end to get this expedited.
All right. Sorry it's taken a while for us to get together, Frank. Thank you for your patience, and we'll try to
We'll get through it
this
quickly.
as quickly as we
Thank you
can.
so much.
Thanks, Frank.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. And I.
All We probably motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we need a motion.
Almost,
I moved it.
Okay. Sheila, you
seconded
second?
it.
motioned it, or who did?
Okay,
I motioned it. Sheila seconded it.
okay. All in favor, Barletta,
Aye.
Hunt,
Hi.
Hamilton,
Aye.
Carmy? Aye.
Okay.
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank
Aye.
you.
See later.
Hi.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you.